Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back to show us some more plunder that I've acquired over the last little while. Everything that I will be showing in this video is stuff that I picked up with the gift cards and money that I got for Christmas. And I basically used it this time around to kind of fill in some gaps in some collections from, classic bands that I've been needing to get, and then also picking up stuff finally from some of these bands. And yeah, just kind of what I decided to use it for. I actually do have one other thing that I got for Christmas that is music related that I forgot to show in my kind of Christmas haul, Christmas raid video, but I will get to that eventually. It is a box set, and I will kind of take some time to go through it and then eventually do a video on that. But yeah, getting started here, the first five are all from the same band, and it is a band that truly, when you hear the name, really needs no introduction, and that is Aerosmith. But if you are not familiar with them somehow, they are a hard rock, some would even call them a metal band, out of Boston, Massachusetts. Been around since 1971, and picked up Rocks, which is the band's fourth full-length album, out on Columbia Records back in 1976. Back in the Saddle and Last Child are the pretty much the two hits from this album that I know, and I hear those played on the radio quite a bit around here. Then we have Draw the Line, and this is their fifth full-length album, out on Columbia back in 1977. Favorite track off of this one, without a doubt, is Kings and Queens. I absolutely love that song. The bass line in that song is just so freaking good. Then we have Live Bootleg. And yeah, this was a double live album put out in 1978 on Columbia. While most of the songs are from performances from around the 77 and 78 area. I Ain't Got You and Mother Popcorn are from a Boston radio broadcast from March 20th of 1973. But other than that, that's pretty much what the majority of this CD comprises of. And then we have a couple that a lot of people that are Aerosmith fans, I heard, don't seem to really like these, but after listening to them, I actually kind of enjoy them. So, I don't know. This is Night in the Ruts. Sixth full length, out on Columbia back in 1979. Joe Perry actually left the band halfway through recording this, so yeah, that kind of makes this one a little controversial in a way to a lot of fans. And then finally we have Rock in a Hard Place. I really love the album cover of this one. But yeah, this is their seventh full length, put out in 1982, conveniently the year I was born, on Columbia. And by this time, Brad Whitford had left during the recording back in 1981. So now they were down two original members. But I don't know, I kind of enjoyed this song. I think the only song I had heard... Actually, there's only a couple songs on here that I heard prior to getting this, and that was Jailbait and Lightning Strikes, because they did play those on Ozzy's Boneyard every now and then. All right, next four from another classic band, that one being Thin Lizzy. Of course, another hard rock, some would call them a metal band, out of Dublin, Ireland, that was active between 1969 and 1983. Yeah, got Johnny the Fox, which is their seventh full-length album, put out on Vertigo in 1976. Then we have a Japanese edition of Black Rose. And this is the band's ninth full-length album, originally put out by Vertigo in 1979. This is a 2011 Universal Japan reissue, which, was really cool to find. And it was one of those things that normally Japanese editions are really expensive. And they actually had this one and the other one that I got in this little stack marked down to a decent price. And I thought, you know what, I'm using gift cards in that, so what the hell, why not? So really happy to have that in the collection. And then we have Chinatown. This is their 10th full-length album from 1980, out on Vertigo. Then finally, probably one of my favorites, this is Thunder and Lightning. Again, Japanese edition with the OBI strip here. But yeah, this is the band's 12th and final full-length album, put out on Vertigo in 1983. The title track and Cold Sweat are probably my favorite tracks off of this album. And again, this is another Universal Japan, I believe, reissue. Yeah, Universal, I believe this is a Universal Japan reissue. Sorry, I was trying to... And I actually had another little note to talk about on this album here, Chinatown, which again has some really cool artwork. But this is actually the first album with Snowy White on guitar, who had replaced Gary Moore by this time, as well as the first to feature Darren Wharton on keyboards, who would soon become a permanent member of the band at the end of this year that this was released. So yeah, just some really cool stuff to have. Finally glad to have some more Thin Lizzy in the collection. All right. The next three are all by the same band, and this is a band that I've had a couple of cassettes that I had picked up at a local flea market for a while, and I think I've even got a couple vinyl that I had found here and there, but had never actually gotten a chance to buy any of these on the CD. I've come to find out that some of their stuff is pretty easy to find. Other stuff is not so easy to find because, you know, I don't use Discogs. I know a lot of people probably say, well, why is it so difficult? You use Discogs. I just don't use Discogs. I use Amazon, eBay, and just a few other places that I look for, that I've, you know, shopped for before to buy stuff. So yeah, but I was able to pick up the these three right here, and that is from the Outlaws, and they are a southern rock band from Tampa, Florida. They've been around since 1967, and I was able to pick up their self-titled debut album. Originally put out on Arista Records back in 1975. Then we have Lady in Waiting, second full length, again out on Arista. This was released in 1976. And then finally we have their third full length album, Hurry Sundown. And as you can see, this is another Japanese edition, which was really cool to find. Originally put out on Arista in 1977. This is a Sony Japan reissue from 2015. The title track on here, Hurry Sundown, is probably my personal favorite song, and is also a fan favorite and a live staple of their set. Pretty much, if you love stuff like Molly Hatchet and bands like that, then you should definitely go check out the Outlaws. These guys are amazing in my opinion. Next up, we have Mama's Boys with Power and Passion, which, why they put the artwork sideways on the slipcase, I do not know, because then when you... Not sure who thought that was a good idea. But yeah, Outlaws, another hard rock / heavy metal band from Northern Ireland that were active between 1978 and 1993. Comprised of three brothers, believe it or not. So that's really cool. But yeah, this is, I believe, their fifth full-length album. Originally put out on Jive back in 1985. This is a BGO Records reissue from 2009. And yeah, this is just some really good stuff. I really want to pick up more from them. But again, it seems like a lot of the places that I've been looking don't seem to have a whole lot of stuff from Mama's Boys. But I do plan on eventually tracking down all the rest of their albums. And then last but not least, while I was looking for pretty much like the Outlaw stuff and the Mama's Boys stuff, I stumbled across this. And of course, I'm become a really huge fan of this guy, so had to pick this up. This is Ted Nugent, Central Park, 1975. Yeah, Ted Nugent, another one, doesn't really need an introduction. Hard rock musician out of Redford, Michigan, been around doing his thing since 1964. Yeah, now on this particular CD here, tracks 1 to 5 were recorded at Central Park in New York on August 29th of 1975 for a radio broadcast. The other tracks 6 through 12 were actually recorded at Pine Knob Music Theater in Clarkston, Michigan on July 7th of 1977 for another radio broadcast. And basically, these shows were recorded during what many see as his best time and his best form of his band, after pretty much, you know, doing away with the Amboy Dukes band and everything. And they say this is pretty much him at his prime time of his career. So yeah, really looking forward to checking this one out. Have not had a chance to really listen to it, but yeah. So that is going to do it. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing, and until next time, stay brutal.